Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is Reverie Readings and Healings, and today I work with spirit guides a lot, and I work with archangels as a subsection of that a lot. And some archangels came to me today and asked me to do a reading to bring through guidance messages from archangels, and also this may come through in every pile, this may only come through in some piles, I won't know until we do the reading, but also healing energies. They want to bring through the readings as well. Healing energies through my voice, through the words, through the energy of the reading being transmitted through the video. Healing activations, specifically, they're saying. So activating parts of you in a way that will bring healing to you. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, I gotta tell y'all, it is really hilarious sometimes to be able to bear witness to conversations amongst your spirit guides, because they were genuinely arguing over which oracle deck to use for pile 2's significator, but they did guide me on which oracle deck to use for each pile's significator. They did guide me to use oracle decks in the first place. So your group is pile 1 if you are drawn to the messages from the Mermaid's deck. I'm being drawn to the number 44 on this deck, so that may have significance for you. If you're being drawn to that angel number, pile 1 may be your pile. Pile 2, the long fought over tea leaf oracle deck. If you are drawn to the tea leaf oracle, then this is your pile number 2. And it's pile 2, and we have 200 on here. So 22 may be an angel number of significance for you. And last but not least, pile number 3. One of my angels just said, saving the best for last, in fact. So pile 3 is your group if you are drawn to the energy oracle deck. And yes, they are saying that I should tell you that 8, because 5 plus 3 is 8, and 53 is on the cover of this deck. If 8 is an angel number, or 88, 888, etc., is an angel number that you are drawn to, then go ahead and go with pile 3. So without further ado, I will see you at your piles. Pause the video if you need to meditate or take some deep breaths to tap into which pile is calling to you as having messages for you today, and I will see you there. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading. Apologies for shaking the camera when I hit start on record. This is your pile if you chose the messages from the Mermaid's deck. And today I've been guided and requested very loudly to pick a card to bring through messages and healing energies and activations and guidance from the archangels. So let's see what the first card they're bringing out is. Trust. It's funny that this is the first card of this reading, when it was also one of the cards of the most recent reading I posted before this one. Let's see where they're going with this. Okay, we have another one coming out here. Waiting. Okay, so I'm hearing patience and divine timing. So there's something that you've been either waiting for or waiting for news on. Either waiting for news on, or you aren't sure yet how something is going to come in, but you've been assured by divine guidance that your timeline is heading in that direction, and you're being not merely asked to trust that that is true, but also advised and deeply, deeply assured that it's okay to relax. You don't need to wait anxiously. That's not going to... How anxiously you wait and how you pass the time while you're waiting isn't going to change anything. How you pass the time while you're waiting, it absolutely does change things. That's a poor wording choice on my part. But the point is that it's like worrying is a misuse of imagination, that type of energy. Worrying about it is not part of ensuring that it will come in for you or that it will happen for you. Worrying about it is also not going to ruin it. So that's what they meant when I interpreted their energy and message as how you pass the time while you wait doesn't matter. It's a little more nuanced than that. It's that worrying will neither ruin it nor make it come faster or better or protect you from it somehow not happening or protect you from messing it up or ruining it. Worry is irrelevant. I hope that makes sense, my clarification there. Okay. Turn away from worry, yes, turn away from doubts. And also, this is something you can do that is helpful while you are not yet guided about your next steps on this particular pursuit or part of your path. Turning away from that which you know doesn't help you, both specific to this part of your path and just in general, is something constructive that you can do for yourself, powerfully for yourself. Not the energy of turning away from something as a movement, as an action, a choice that is for you because you love yourself and care about yourself and want you to feel good or at least feel better, is extremely powerful, and it's powerfully different from turning away from something out of fear, out of worry, out of constriction. It's the difference between an expansive choice and a constrictive choice or constricted choice. And turning away from something because you feel like you have to, or because you are believing there will be some kind of punishment type consequence for engaging with it, is very different. And the archangels here are specifying that if this is your pile, you are currently dealing with or working through the release of and transmutation of old beliefs that were conditioned by punishment and reward ways of raising children, which are extremely common in our society. So it's very unlikely that that wasn't involved in your upbringing. And those types of beliefs, that type of conditioning in childhood will cause going towards some things to feel like forcing yourself to touch a hot stove, even though it's actually not something that innately will burn you. It's something that you've been conditioned to believe you will be punished for. So they're letting you know that there are things in your life that you need to cut out and turn away from, not because they're hot stoves that will burn you, and not because you'll be punished for going away from them, but because of self-love, of it will make you feel better to cut out those energies. They're saying to pay attention to how things in your life, foods, they're saying, and locations, places you go to. They're giving me the image of someone going to a specific coffee shop to work, but it actually is the energy of that location, whether it's the people or the food or the smells. I'm getting the smell of cigarette smoke. I'm also being shown a park where there's a lot of cigarette smoke. So those are specific locations for specific individuals in this pile. So I'm being shown locations that it would actually benefit you to switch out for different locations in your routine. Someone is... the angels are saying, sorry, we know you love that cup of coffee, but you'll get just as good of coffee, or dare we say, even better coffee, at a place that is also better for your energy. Yeah, they're indicating places you go to eat and drink, specifically the coffee shop for the person or people that applies to, but this will also apply to other types of food and beverage. The energy that the people who make the food and beverage are embodying while they make it and emanating while they make it gets to varying degrees infused into the thing they're making. And that's actually genuinely part of why, like for one or a few of you, a huge part of why they're asking you to turn away from that location and switch it out for a different one, because you are drinking poisonous energy with your coffee. I hope that doesn't sound too alarmist, but that is very literally what they're saying. So foods, there are specific foods and drinks that some of you have an inkling that you might be reactive to, but have maybe been putting off exploring that more, or have been a little bit in denial about it, like, oh, I don't think that's really what my issue is. And your archangels are asking you to actually take that inkling seriously. Then there's locations, and I'm getting acquaintances, like neighbors, friendly acquaintances, friends who are not in your inner circle, that you've kind of made time for more out of guilt and out of like feeling like it would be mean to enforce a boundary, rather than making time for them out of because it actually feels good to you. And your archangels are asking you, your angels are asking you to also take those inklings seriously. In general, trusting the niggle of your intuition with this trust card is huge for this group. Your spirit guides, your angels are asking you to take it seriously when your gut, your intuition, your heart, your energy, when it feels drained after you have an interaction or encounter in a specific place or with a specific person. Not to assume the worst every time you get that type of message, but to actually examine it and take it seriously and kind of sink or drop down into that feeling, that niggle, that nudge, or that drainedness, depletion, weariness, tiredness, fatigue, whatever that feeling is. Maybe it's an itchiness, that's some feeling I'm getting, or a feeling of like constriction or tension, like you kind of have to get your back up, or, you know, put your metaphorical porcupine spines on high alert. Those feelings, drop into them when you have them, instead of just like pushing to them to the side and powering through them, thinking that you're just letting go and moving it on. There's a very significant place for letting go and moving on in everyone's life, but with these feelings, pay attention to them, attune to them, drop into them, find out what the message is, listen to them like you're listening to a conversational partner. Ask that part of you that is giving you that feeling, which is an intuitive message. All emotions and feelings carry messages, carry information. That's what they are. They're conveyors of information. And when the message has been received and acted on, the niggle, the message, the emotion, the feeling gets to cease and desist. Our emotional lives are complex, and not having acted on the answer isn't always why an emotion hasn't quote-unquote gone away or receded, but it's a very important reason why, a very common reason why. So, back from that tangent, pay attention, attune, drop into those feelings, glean the messages from them, glean the wisdom from your own self, your own gut and heart and body. I'm hearing the Mary Oliver poem, "Let the soft animal of your body love what it loves." Glean the messages from the wisdom of your body. Your body is wise, your angels are saying. Trust it, trust it. And they're saying not to wait to act on these intuitive messages, that waiting to see if it really is as bad as you think it is actually kind of signing up for your own doom in some situations. That's a dramatic way to put it for a lot of situations, but it still is signing up for something that's harming you if you're ignoring your own intuition and saying, oh, it's probably not that serious. No, take it seriously. And turn away from what it's telling you to turn away from. And for those of you where like friendly acquaintances, neighbors, that sort of thing are not positive influences for you, not positive influences on your energy, it's actually not going to require the meanness that you're scared it would to just say no to them, set a boundary with them. It just means politely declining when they're explicitly or implicitly inviting you to engage with them. So, if it's a neighbor and they're standing outside and you leave your home or apartment, you're not actually obligated to engage with them. They might wave and say hi and extend an implicit invitation to engage. But you can simply say, hi, how are you? Or if they always go on a really long-winded answer when you say, how are you? Just say hi and then move on with your life. You can then, get into the car or walk down the street to go to work, or go around to a different part of the building or your home to, use the outdoors for your gardening or your or your stretching or whatever it is, for your sitting and reading. Protect your peace, but they're specifically, when they say that, giving me the image of someone, and this is going to be a metaphor for a lot of you, but also literal for some of you, someone moving their chair that they sit to enjoy their coffee and read in from the side of the building where, the neighbor smokes or doesn't shut up about their pets or whatever it is, over to a different side of the building where that neighbor, it wouldn't even occur to them to go look for you. It wouldn't even occur to them to go out of their way to go do that, to chase you down. Yeah, the angels are saying very clearly, sometimes it's as simple as moving a GD piece of furniture, a goddamn piece of furniture, and there's nothing stopping you but yourself. So let go of these beliefs that you're going to be punished for making a change. There might be a belief holding you back, or a fear from childhood, if you'd done something like that without permission, you would have gotten yelled at for it, and the chair would have gotten moved back to wherever the head of the household demanded it be. And you trying to quote unquote worm your way out of conversations and engagements with those head of household or authority figures would also have been punished and frowned upon and scorned and made out to be ungrateful and made out to be not just cowardly. What is the energy you're trying to tell me, angels, archangels? Help me understand. There were caregivers and authority figures in your life when you were young who did not know how to feel power and did not know how to parent without feeling that they had you and keeping you under their thumb. And so any little exertion of your own autonomy, even moving a chair and promising to move it back when you were done with it, would have been treated as a punishable offense. And so even something where you would then put it back the way it was as soon as you were done with it would have been seen as you trying to worm your way out from under their thumb and trying to, rebel, trying to uprise against their authority, because they didn't know how to feel or have within them a sense of personal power that wasn't dependent on power over someone else. And a longer journey that you are on in your life is learning to embody personal power that has nothing to do with power over anyone else. Because personal power is merely the capacity to close the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. It's merely the ability to get what you want, or to manifest, to make real what you want. That's all power is. It has nothing to do with power over someone or someone else having power over you. Could not be less related. Could be less related. The angels are pointing out to me about my tangent, because a lot of people, the only way they know how to get what they want is to exert power over someone else and force that person or coerce them, pressure them until they cave to make the thing they want happen for them. And you'll notice, though, that like 99% of the time, what they are getting from their power over someone else is like a weak substitute for what they really want. They really want a sense of standing on their own 2 feet and the sense of prosperity and abundance that comes from making a luxurious life possible for themselves. And so they exploit others to do that, and that's a weak shadow of really truly standing on your own 2 feet. So the different people in this pile are going to be at very different stages in their personal journey of really embodying personal power for themselves. And because of sort of the clumsiness of my translating about personal power not having anything to do with power over others, okay, my guides are saying it wasn't clumsy, but just because of the risk of misinterpretation, they want me to clarify that the example they gave me about wanting to stand on your own 2 feet and getting a weak substitute for that by forcing other people to kneel before you, even while you're not really standing on your own 2 feet, you're standing on their backs. That example is not intended to glorify hyper-independence or say you shouldn't depend on other people or you don't have personal power if you depend on other people. That also could not be further from the truth. Everyone depends on each other. There is not a soul in existence that doesn't depend on the other souls in existence. That is the nature of this universe. You can't escape it. If you've been trying to, drop it. Drop it like a dog dropping a bone that is really, really bad for them because it's poisoned or something. You have to depend on people. Interdependence is the way of this universe, and humanity is designed quite specifically and on purpose to be especially interdependent. We are pack animals, and we are learning what we are meant to learn as part of this universe's life mission through being hyper interdependent, not through being hyper independent. So I'm not intending to glorify not needing other people by using that example. Okay, thank you, angels and archangels. Okay, they're telling me to bring out another card. Free spirit. we were just talking about power not having anything to do with power over other people, and then we have this free spirit thing. Freedom is not about not needing other people. Freedom is about things like not needing to exert power over other people to feel secure. It's about things like the security within yourself to be able to turn away and walk away from things that are bad for you, rather than needing things that are bad for you in order to feel safe or secure in some way. That's freedom, is knowing if it really comes down to it and my boundaries, can't be respected where I am, I can walk away. I'm free to do that. And you might be surprised at how free it makes you feel to move the chair to the other side of the building, to try a different coffee shop, to simply wave and keep on walking when that person who doesn't make you feel good tries to engage you in conversation. And it might surprise you after that conditioning from childhood that it doesn't offend anyone when you just live your life. And if it, on the rare occasions that it does offend someone, it's not going to offend someone in a way where they actually have the power over you to stop you from doing it anyway. They might, sort of shake their fist at you from across the grocery store aisle, but they can't, they have no legal right to actually stop you from picking up the organic veggies anyway. Interesting example, spirit guides. Okay. Free spirit, you're asking me to get another message through the free spirit card. What is it? They're drawing me to these bright fish in this school here. And to the starfish. Oh, there are bright purple fish as well as bright orange fish. These little blue-purple ones are less visible. I'm hearing the word chameleon. Okay, they're actually reminding you to empower yourself with the freedom to adjust, adapt, and chameleon in different situations, to be bright orange and stand out in some situations, and to blend in with the waters in other situations. And that's not merely fickleness or indecisiveness when you wield that freedom to be fluid consciously. That is actually a superpower. Fascinating. And that is actually really related. Like, being able to turn away from things is also a superpower. That's very related here. The freedom to walk away and the freedom to adapt, adjust, blend in ways that work for you. And when there isn't a way to adapt that genuinely works for you and feels good for you, to simply walk away. You should wear the colors that feel good to you. So if you're in a situation where you feel like you have no good option but to blend in, but you actually are really wanting to be bright orange, it's not for you in some way. And there might be some conversations and negotiations that could be had to make it work for you. And there might be a need to walk away. Okay, where are you drawing me next, Spirit? Okay, they're drawing me to the Shadowscapes tarot. Okay. The Magician. Talk about the ultimate free spirit. The Magician is the ultimate alchemist. So when we're talking about blending in and adapting and using what you have around you in any given circumstance to make the absolute best of it, that's the Magician. That's your magician power. I'm being drawn to put it under here though. Yeah, trust in your ability to start with what you have, where you are, when you are, and to make magic out of it. And trust in that, in specifically in relation to what we were just talking about with the free spirit as well. That trust in yourself is going to free you up to go places where you've been holding yourself back from going, or rather where fear has been holding you back from going. And your spirit guides, your angels, are actually genuinely, like, they're giving me the feeling and the image of a push. Like, they are pushing you towards some situations that you have been underneath your fear desperately desiring to experience, but have been telling yourself it would be too much, too scary to go into. And they're asking you to trust your magic, that you would be able to actually get exactly what you need out of the situation and use those elements, those raw materials, to craft exactly what you're wanting to. So this could be something where, like, you've been scared to go somewhere where like to an ecstatic dance group or to a dance club or to a dance class, but or it could be like a language learning class. Do you have any other examples? Okay, those two seem to be pretty literal for some people in the group, but they're also just examples for anyone they don't apply to. And you might be scared that, oh, it would be dangerous to go to a dance club, or it would be, I'd be risking, you know, a lot of judgment or shame if I go to a dance class, or it's not worth the risk that I'll start the language class and then quit. I am scared of ending up feeling ashamed that I dared to try to invest because it didn't go the way I wanted. And your guides are literally wanting to push you into those situations. What wonder, do you have any advice, guides, about how to, like, if there is a worry about safety, like with the dance club aspect, do you have any advice about how to protect, how one can protect themselves? Okay, they're saying there's no need to protect yourself because you have discernment and you use it very proactively. So, like, if you do, just in that example, I know this isn't going to apply to everyone or necessarily even most people, but in that example of, like, oh, I've never had that experience of going clubbing and, like, I kind of wish I had, they're saying that you would, like, look up the places, if you did that, you would, like, look up the places you could go to beforehand and look at reviews, and some of you might have people you can go with as well, which of course would make it a safer experience, or you would choose to stay sober, or you would have a plan about, like, okay, I'm going to arrive at this time and leave at this time because I don't want to stick around, until people close the bar down, because by not sticking around that late, I'm going to avoid the worst of the drunkenness. Like, they're saying that just using that discernment and logic is enough to protect you. You have all of the discernment and intelligence that you need to, and also the divine guidance, the intuition that we've been talking about with trust the niggle. You have all of the discernment you need to trust your intuitive and intelligent guidance and not try to override one with the other. Don't ignore the niggle of your intuition because you don't know what the logical reason is for it yet. Don't put off heeding it, waiting for a logical reason to appear to explain the intuition. Heed it first, and then the explanation will come. And similarly, if you're not getting a warning, like, use your logic. If you're not getting an intuitive signal, use your logic. And that will keep you safe in any situation. And same with, the class things with judgment from other people in a, martial arts or dance class. You can use your discernment about who to actually bother to associate with in the class. You don't have to stand next to anyone who's making any rude remarks. And you can also look at reviews of places to go to see what people say about whether it's an accepting atmosphere. You can call or go to the studio or the classroom environment beforehand and speak to the instructors, that sort of thing. You can tell them about your fears. It's okay to do that. And that last thing, when I was talking about the language learning class, I was talking about being scared you'll give up and turn around and then live with that shame. And that's where that same guidance about trusting the intuition and your intelligence comes in. Are you feeling like intuitively and emotionally inspired to do this thing? Does it bring you joy or light you up to, like, practice language learning or martial arts or whatever the thing is, practice a musical instrument? Then why are you worried that you'll give it up? And is that just an old skin that's ready to be shed from people, those same, caregivers or similar people in your childhood, making you feel like a failure, giving something up when the thing that you gave up actually wasn't for you? It was one of those things you turned away from because it didn't make you feel good. And that was something they valued, so they thought there was something wrong with you, or projected onto you that there was something wrong with you for giving it up, but it was actually a good thing that you gave it up because your life path lies elsewhere. Okay. 9 of Pentacles. This is so funny. This is coming out when we've had these examples about standing on your own 2 feet and boundaries and freedom, because the 9 of Pentacles is kind of like a entrepreneurship, solopreneurship type vibe. It is like self-made person energy. It's kind of independently wealthy energy. Yeah, we were talking about trusting your magic and you having everything you need to craft the experience you want. This is you getting the experience you want, and it came out under the waiting card. Like, this is This is one of the things you've been waiting for. This particular Nine of Pentacles always intrigues me so much because this piano is part of a living creature, right? It's part of a living forest. And so this particular Nine of Pentacles gives me a much more collaborative feeling than most Nine of Pentacles cards do, because it's like this individual is co-creating, the instrumentalist is co-creating with the instrument and co-creating with the divine, which is inspiring, you know, whatever it is that they're playing, because they're not reading any music. They appear to be, in my opinion, almost in rapture. And I guess the stained glass depiction of that pentacle contributes to that feeling for me, because it feels like a very cathedral-like forest. Yeah, that feeling of rapture. This is what you're protecting by turning away from other things. Your ability to engage in things like learning an instrument or language learning or dance or music, whatever it is, writing, that allow you to lose track of time, that allow you to fall into a state of rapture and reverie, and that in some cases come naturally to you. That's something, okay, your angels are saying specifically about that part, that some of you have been made to feel like the things that came naturally to you were not worth pursuing. Primarily because those things simply weren't valued by the people around you when you were growing up. Also secondarily because it was seen as lazy for you to spend time on things that you didn't need to like work at. It was seen as diligence and hard work for their own sake being something of critical importance, when it's actually not. Diligence and hard work for the sake of being responsible to your community, for the sake of making your own life feel as good as it possibly can for you, out of self-love, like we've been talking about. Those types of diligence and hard work are very important, but being seen as, I just heard, less of a man, or as not legitimate, or as lazy simply because you didn't see a point in slaving away at something or working very hard, you know, toiling away at something that didn't have an important reason, a genuine payoff. That was something that you were kind of sneered at for, and that's part of this sort of belief system or paradigm that you're shedding. Yes, the Magician and the Nine of Pentacles figure both have this like very like lost in thought, like lost in focus, hyper focus type of air to them. They're both so intent on what they're doing. The Magician in a way where it's like, this little orb in my hands is all that is, and the Nine of Pentacles in this incredibly expansive way where they're looking up even while they're playing the keys in front of and below them. You are, when I said this is what you're protecting, when they say to protect your peace, you are pursuing a life path. You are seeking a life in the future where what you work hard at, what you invest effort into and time into and energy into are the things that you can get lost in a daydream with, get into a flow state with, get lost in rapture within it. It brings you bliss simply to be engaged in those activities. And that's the ultimate free spirit energy that you are seeking in your life. And perhaps in like waiting for certain next steps in the direction of bringing more of that into your life. So your guides, your angels are encouraging you, wanting you to trim the fat in the sense of cutting out the things that drain your energy, because it's like your energy should be reserved for these things that are sacred to you. It shouldn't be, they're giving me the image of like mosquito bites. Your life force shouldn't be drained away by these little mosquitoes. It should be protected and kept safe and sacred for these sacred pursuits that mean so much to you. Career, hobby, studies, arts, gardening, intellectual pursuits. It doesn't, like, it's not of significant relevance what the specific things are. What matters is that they are sacred to you and that you reserve your energy for them, for your own sake. Like, it is reserving your energy for yourself to do so in a way where engaging in and investing more in these things is investing in yourself in a way that pays dividends, because it gives you this beautiful overflow of energy to engage in the thing that you love so much. That rapture feeling, that bliss feeling. It causes you to overflow when you feel it's like pouring into yourself. Your cup starts to overflow, and then your cup is overflowing into, your fountain that's also yours. And that's the real freedom in life, is being free to pursue those things, being free to maximize, free to, help me with the words here, Spirit, please. And bringing me back to Mary Oliver, what is it you wish to do with your one and wild and precious life? Let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. I know those are two different poems, but trusting your body and your feelings about what it is you want to spend your life doing, and reserving as much of your energy as possible for those things, and watching it pay dividends and give you more and more energy to do those things, and also to do the other important things in your life. And watch that, like, capitalize on that, because by doing that you can turn that into freedom to spend as much time as you want doing the things you want. Am I missing anything, Spirit? Okay, they're saying that's what it is. Okay, they're saying the feeling that I have of like, but I'm missing something, is the feeling that a lot of us get in reaction to that type of guidance of like, oh, but I'd be forgetting something, or dropping an important ball if I spent as much time as I wanted doing the things I want. And they're saying, no, that's actually not the case. You investing in yourself, spending as much time as possible doing the things that you want, as much time as you want doing the things that you want, gives you like this overflow of joy, so that then when you do inevitably need a break from doing that thing, it's not such a chore to spend that break, doing something else constructive like the dishes, or and it can be capitalized on and turned into having the freedom to pay someone else to do the things that really are chores to you because you just hate them. But there are things that are pretty neutral that are only a drag when you're tired and worn out and depleted, and spending as much time as you want doing what you want is what's going to make you not depleted. So it won't be such a drag to do those things. You'll actually be able to have fun doing them. Okay. There's a huge energy as well in these cards of union with Source. And you, like, those things that light you up like that, do that because they're in alignment for you, in meaning when you do those things, your human self and your higher self, your soul self, are in alignment. You are in alignment with your union with Source, and that's why they give you so much energy, because they open up your receptivity to Source. Source is the source of all energy, right? That's the definition. That's the one of the definitions of God, of source. It is your source. And so it's like when you open up that valve, you open yourself up to, when you open yourself up to doing with your life, with your body, the things that you came into this body, into this life to do. You open up that valve so that the energy flowing into you from source is not constricted by you pulling away from the things that you actually came here to do. And you get flooded with the energy to live your life in alignment for yourself. Okay. That was apparently what they wanted to say with the Shadowscapes card. Yeah, they're also pointing out how, because of that alignment, the seemingly precarious balance the magician figure is in is actually effortless because they're in alignment. So it's like source is holding them up, their wings are holding them up. They feel light on their feet in a situation, in a position that you might think would hurt their joints, you know? There's a restful repose, a restful attitude or energy in that pose. Because they're resting in spirit, they're trusting their own magic, they're trusting their wings, their own power, and they're in alignment. Everything is stacked on top of each other, allowing them to be in alignment with source. And that's, again, what you are protecting is that connection, that alignment. Instead of letting, every little thing tug at you, when something approaches you, you set the boundary so that it can't, or when it starts to tug at you, you pull away before it can tug you truly off balance and make you topple. Or if something makes you topple, you get back up and you don't allow it to do that again. Okay. The energy of the message is starting to wind down. Okay, they said the message about alignment was complete there. They're drawing me to the Spirit Song Tarot. Apparently this one wore me out. Okay. Shaman, divine wisdom, spiritual power. This is the High Priestess in this deck. Am I mistaken about that? I'm pretty sure this is the High Priestess in this deck. And this came out in reverse. Divine wisdom, spiritual power. Let's check out the guidebook for this one. I'm being guided to place it there under the Free Spirit card. Oh wait, that might be the Hierophant? I'm sorry guys, sometimes my memorization of the major arcana fails me. Let me check. No, I'm pretty sure that's the High Priestess, but I could be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's the High Priestess, but it would take too much distraction from the reading if I tried to literally go look this up right now. I think it was the Hierophant. Okay, anyway. Eagle is the courageous collector of spiritual knowledge. He holds the ability to connect to higher spirit teachers rising above and beyond the material world. Eagle thrives in the realm of spirit, yet remains fixed in the realm of earth. Yes, that union with source energy we were talking about, and remaining fixed and aligned. He's sharp-sighted and signifies rational thought. We were talking about that balance too of intelligence and intuition, the union of those as well as the union of the human and the divine. Moving gracefully through the skies, Eagle will teach you how to conserve and use your own energy wisely. He demonstrates that you can still remain grounded while soaring toward divine wisdom. Eagle will assist you in refining your own spiritual power, which will increase your ability to rise above any challenge. Okay, so we're talking about conserving and using your own energy wisely, reserving your energy for what it is actually wise to use it for, what you truly want to. That demonstrates that you can still remain grounded while soaring towards divine wisdom. You can live a life that is both practical and in pursuit of your dreams. not actually inherently in opposition. That's a false belief that has been placed upon all of us. So getting lost in your daydreams and spending time doing the things you want is not actually automatically going to mean that you have to devolve into a life where you can't pay your bills and you're struggling and starving, and where you forget to wash the dishes and blah, blah, blah. And Eagle will assist you in refining your own spiritual power, which will increase your ability to rise above any challenge. We were talking about personal power and increasing your capacity to get what you want, or bring about what you want is a better way to say it. And also the ability to rise above any challenge, enforcing your boundaries. Keywords: advice, teaching, learning, seeking a deeper meaning, tradition, ritual, initiation, and routine. The reversed message is: by changing your approach, a better dynamic will emerge. Break free. Oh my god, that's why I was drawn to put it under the free spirit card. Break free from traditional structure to find what will serve your higher good. Yeah, this is definitely the Hierophant card. The Hierophant in reverse always means that tradition and convention are hampering you. And that is exactly what this is signifying. And we've been talking about generational beliefs that have been imposed upon you about what power means and looks like, about what success means and looks like, what hard work is for, what it means about you when you do certain things or don't do certain things, about what types of freedom are okay and desirable and meaningful and worthwhile and permissible. Break free from traditional structure to find what will serve your higher good. So is there some way, Pile 1, that you've been doing things the way you always do them, or have always done them, or the way they've always been done around you? It's time to spread those wings. We're talking about trusting your wings. There's a saying about the bird: it doesn't trust the branch not to break, it trusts its wings to catch it if it does. And that's why it's able to relax. We've been talking about, we started off as well with talking about staying relaxed and not worrying while you are waiting for your next steps. So that is connected. The keywords for the reversed card here are poor advice, narrow-mindedness, wrong course of action, restriction. Yeah, we were talking about who you listen to, spend time with. It's time to turn away from and turn the volume down on those who give you poor advice or narrow-minded points of view, and to expand your life experience by turning away from that which restricts you in any way that feels constrictive. It's time to find what's in, not necessarily even just find, some of you have already found it, but it's time to double down on what you know is right for you. It's time to double down on, no, I trust myself, actually. I know this is right for me, and I'm not going to let you take me off that path. I'm not going to let you take me off course. All right, can we get a final message for Pile 1, please? Angels and spirit guides, they've gone real quiet, which means that I've brought through all the messages they really needed me to. But can we get a final message to bring some closure to the reading, please? Angels and spirit guides. Okay, they're drawing me to the Tea Leaf Oracle, which I have over here. Okay. They're drawing me to one of the house cards. Okay, I was not expecting that. We have the marriage card here with roses and rings. What I'm really getting from this, though, is what we were talking about with your union with Source, and how I was just talking about doubling down on what you already know is right for you. It's time to get committed, get serious about it. Not to scare you off, but to say you actually get to spend your life doing what you love. So commit to it. You want to. So instead of letting the fear that it won't work out rule you, recognize that it not working out the way you think it has to indicate success doesn't necessarily mean it can't work out in some way where you still get to do what you love for your whole damn life. And that the only real risk would be just refusing to spend any time on the things you love because you think that you can't get the exact result you want from doing them. What if there are a bunch of results that would actually be brilliant and so much better than never spending time doing the things you love? And then we were also talking about that union with Source. Like, committing to spending your life doing what you love is exactly the same as committing to aligning yourself with your higher self, aligning your human self and behavior with your higher self and your reason for incarnating in the first place. If this is what you came here for, why put it off? Why make your life miserable and unaligned, like a poorly balanced a stack of plates, you know? And that, again, that getting lost in rapture and in reverie is what you stand to gain here. That's the most beautiful way to spend your life. For not everyone in this pile, and not even most of the people in the pile, but a select few of you, a relationship that is marriage material is one of the things you have been waiting for, and you have been guided divinely, as we spoke at the very beginning of the reading. You've been divinely guided to trust that that is something that is part of your life path, that's part of your timeline, and this is confirmation that it is, and not to worry about when it comes in, who, how. Your angels are actually saying very specifically that they have the how on lock. It's not yours to worry about. That's your spirit guides to handle, not yours. As long as you are not isolating yourself where you can't meet anyone ever, they will make it happen. As long as you are trusting those intuitive signals from your body and your energy and your gut, you will follow your spirit guide signals down the path that will lead you into this relationship and these paradigms and beliefs and ways of being, ways of living, and ways of restraining yourself from living and keeping yourself stuck in a half-life. These things that you're shedding, it's empowering you to go into this relationship like a hot air balloon rising with the sandbags, having been let go. And even for those of you where this marriage thing doesn't apply, because like I said, I'm being told that's just a few of you in this pile, that hot air balloon metaphor still does apply, because this is empowering you to go into the rest of your life that way. But that there is an additional significance when you are looking at, they're saying the word landing, committed relationship that you haven't started yet. There is an added, an extra benefit, like a bonus. It's more than a bonus, but there's an additional significance to not being held back by those types of beliefs when you enter into that type of relationship, because it can just throw up obstacles to trust, to deep intimacy, to commitment in relationships when you are being held back by those fears. And that goes for friendships too. How are you going to have emotional intimacy with friends if you're held back in all those ways that we were talking about? How are you going to commit to a marriage if you are taking that attitude of, I can't risk possibly failing at something? The Terry Pratchett quote, God love him, Sir Terry Pratchett, about anything worth doing is doing badly. I think that was Granny Weatherwax, the character in one of his novels, who said that. Correct me if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. I haven't read all of his books. That's on my list. Anything worth doing is doing badly is just as true. Like, that's the other wing of the bird. The one wing of the bird is anything worth doing is worth, like, committing to or striving for excellence at. But also anything worth doing, it's better to do it in a less excellent way than to not do it at all. And the freedom of mind and heart to just throw yourself into things like that, or dip your toes into things like that, it doesn't really matter which one it is. That's going to be up to your personal style and which moment of which day you're on. The freedom to just dip your toes in or jump in or dive in when you are inspired to comes from those two wings of the bird, freeing yourself up to do things poorly and to strive to do them well. And trusting yourself. There's a lot in the Bhagavad Gita about letting go of the outcome, being 100%, 150% committed to your course of action that feels right and is aligned for you. And understanding that even when you put in your all, there are factors that you cannot control at play in the outcome. And this is worth it to you regardless. Yeah. Okay. Angel, spiritual guidance, protection from harm. Oh my gosh. Of course. That's like a little wax seal on this reading that was 100% about angel guidance. You are spiritually guided. You are protected from harm. Your angels are bringing this in as the last message to remind you of that they walk with you the whole way. They don't just walk with you when you tune into a reading like this. They're here with you 24/7. They might take shifts. It might not be the same angels here with you 24/7, but call on them. Call on archangels by name. Pray to them, thank them for helping you, call on them to help you with specific things and with general things, whether it's calling on them to help you get a good night's sleep, or at the beginning of the day to just be with you, guiding you and protecting you from harm during your day, or whether it's with a specific situation that you're struggling with. Light a candle if it helps you to focus that intention of asking them for help. Some of you, they're telling me specifically that a number of you in this reading, quite a few of you, work extremely well with the fire element, and your wishes and intentions are magnified by lighting a candle. And it will, for a few of you, a smaller subcategory of those people, it will help you hear their guidance better if you make a practice of lighting a candle whether you consider it praying to them or talking to them, connecting with them, opening up to their guidance. For some of you, that's how well you connect with the fire element, that it's kind of like picking up the phone so that you can hear them, to light the candle and set that intention or say that prayer, that opening prayer to open up to them. And so use the practice that works for you. For some of you, it's going to be that you have the candle lit for that whole conversation, especially if you are one of those people that you discover that it actually lets you receive and hear their guidance, or see or feel their guidance much better when the flame is lit. For a lot of you, because that's just a few of you where that's the case, for a lot of you, it's going to be that you light the candle to set the intention to ask for the help, and then you blow it out and go about your day, and the help comes in as you go about your day. Your angels, thank you so much for being here and being open to their guidance and receiving and implementing their guidance. They love you, and they love you for that specifically, and they also love you in general. If you are feeling guided or drawn to get a personal private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box and in my bio that you can follow to order one. They're really saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. So I love you for being here. And I wish you all the best. I'll see you at the next... What is it? Sorry, they're saying something. I was going to say see you at the next reading, but they were saying something else. They're saying see you at the next rodeo. I think that's an inside joke for some of you. I think some of you have an inside joke with yourself or with your friends or family or with your spirit guides about, not my first rodeo, or this is my first rodeo, I don't know what I'm doing. And they're saying we'll see you at the next rodeo. So thank you for being here. Have an awesome day.